Okay, hello everybody. This is Overdose, and I'm joined by Walter Wight once again. How you
Hello,
doing,
hello.
Walter? Yeah,
Doing well, thank you.
good, good, good. So one thing I don't think I included in the last video was the week three summary, and so I'm just going to go through this really quick. If you check out the last two videos, there'll be week three Saturday and Sunday. Of course, I took the best of the two scores. And, unfortunately, if anybody had zero or negative lives, they were removed from the tournament. And so after week three, Father Xmas still holding on to that 11 life lead. Glassjaw and Wings with 10 lives apiece. Overdose with 9. Walter Wight with 8. Kronjack with 3. And Ion with 1. Now, unfortunately, what happened was you, Walter, and Glassjaw had some family events to tend to, and so in sort of an improvised fashion, we constructed week 3.5, which was essentially a week where nobody lost lives, but instead they would gain, in similar fashion to week one, they would gain lives, but only half as much as you would have if it were week one. So, for example, in a two-team game, the winners, instead of getting one life, they would get half a life, and winning a large free-for-all like Door for Riot, instead of getting 2 points for a 7+ start map, the winner, as you can tell, was Father Xmas in this particular game. Got 1 point instead of two. And so after these 10 games, which were a combination of free for all and two team, I think we just did damage chooses. That actually bumped up Father Xmas, Overdose, and Wings, all three of them, to 13 lives. Glassjaw again remains at 10 lives. Walter Wight remains at 8 lives because they had other events going on. Kronjack at 4 lives, and actually some people were able to rise from the dead and were able to get a handful of lives, most notably Spy, Xenophone, Ion, who had 1 life, was able to get half a life. I did round up any partial lives just to make things easier for myself. And
And because you're a sweetheart.
yeah, and a handful of other people were able to dig themselves out of the grave, so to speak, and
I was wondering
resuscitate.
how you did that. I really liked that strategy to help that week. That was a cool compromise. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I would have preferred that this tournament was over already because, as you know, I've got other things going on. But, you know, do what you got to do to finish this out, in a way that,
Well, no one thought you would have that baby.
yeah. Um, so, as it stands, um, these are these standings. Again, even though this says week four final, I think I changed it to week 3.5 or something like that, because the games we are covering today are actually the week four games. And so hopefully, with that little introduction, you guys are all caught up. And are you ready to just jump into this? These are the games that took place on what would have been September 3rd, September 4th, somewhere around there. And
Yeah, no, I
Father,
think I'm ready to jump in. I would be interested to know. So, what happens? Like, how do these games get selected, particularly these free for all games?
yeah, so typically the way the first free for all game is selected is the person that won the fifth free for all game the prior week is the one who chooses, game one of the next week. So this is actually a Father Xmas pick. Kind of came out of the blue, really. I believe this is the first hunting game, maybe in all of my tournaments. And I don't want to brag that much, but I've probably got close to as many fingers as I have hosting tournaments. So
But do you think seeing the limited number of people left, Father Xmas is, trying to pad his numbers a little bit, give himself a little bit more, breathing room for as we wind this thing down.
Well, I think there's two schools of thought. One is, Father Xmas. I think he tries to choose some of these obscure games with the hopes of catching people off guard. But the other possibility is that, he was in the lab playing this game by himself, multiple times before choosing it, knowing that, pretty much nobody
It seems
in
like a
this game.
conspiracy theory.
Yeah, so I mean, it's either, he's either being nefarious or, he's pulling sort of a Gerald Toad. He pops into my mind because I'm staring at him in the Discord chat. He whenever Gerald Toad gets the choice, he'll always pick some, scavenger hunt on demise on the plains or something funky like that. So, you know, maybe Father Xmas's choice was coming from that frame of mind, or he had some sort of ulterior motives, and that he really just tried to get a leg up on everyone else, knowing that no one would assume he would pick this game. So,
I think that's as much preface as we need. I think let's jump in and see how hunting on Gimble in the wave goes.
yep. All right, here we go. Oh, let me do this, do that, and then caps lock. Okay. Yep, so we did have 7 people in the game, which means that one team will have to take place. That's Empy and Kronjack. And as you'll note, there's a bunch of yellow, oh, sorry, those are Glassjaw's units, but yellow dots throughout the map, mostly comprised of deer and these birds. I would say there's probably maybe 10 or 11, 12 targets, something like that.
Yeah, not a huge amount. And what's kind of interesting is that the unit set is not the standard Gimble unit set, which actually really surprised me. I thought you'd be able to get some pus skulls, but no, there's no real super fast units. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah. All right, so this is Father Xmas's pick. He's got a bird flying right
Oh,
across,
he just starts with a beauty of a setup.
but Father Xmas is not shooting this
He's
bird.
not shooting it. That should, by all accounts, be him.
Overdose with the first kill. He was able to shoot down a bird. Now Father Xmas shoots down his bird. The black team, MP, does not appear to have any archers. I think he just went all melee units, which is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for him to shoot down the birds with just melee units. However, he
It
is
is. Oh,
rushing the purple team. Who that? Did someone just sign on?
Entering the
yep.
chat, we have
Kronjack.
Kronjack. Welcome.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Kronjack of the team MP that has no
Yeah,
archers.
Kronjack from Team MP. We just talked about how it's going to be very difficult for Team MP to shoot the birds from the sky without any archers. Yeah, so Team MP yet to kill a unit. Father
Now, what
Yeah,
do you
I
Xmas.
think
did
of this?
not
Like,
think that was a problem, the archers, because I didn't realize that you have to kill the birds. I thought it's just the deer.
Oh, okay.
but the deer really on this map are faster than any other unit, so you really have to corner them. I found. So really, dwarves and archers are kind of going to be your best play.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a couple minutes left, or there's only a couple more animals left. It's hard to distinguish between Glassjaw's units and the animals.
I think at this point there are only 2 animals left.
Okay, I
That
see.
deer that Overdose is going for, and the deer in the top left that I think Wings is going for.
Yeah, okay, so I see 3 deer. Yeah,
3 units or 3 potential targets left.
and
And
somehow,
and the top 2 units won't, or top 2 players won't lose a life here.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
Walter Wight is a little concerned about Wings, especially now that Wings just took down. one of the deer and is in great position to get the final one and take the lead. But since Walter had taken 3 before Wings, this could be a nail biter right here.
Well, Kronjack looks to have the closest. Well, this deer's running for its life, so
Project's team, yeah, with MP running it, yeah. Is it going to get pushed into Wings? This is going to be the final showdown here. Wings taking the lead.
oh,
No.
not enough distance on that throw.
All right, he's got to get closer. Oh, and he takes.
He threw at the wrong target.
Oh, his awareness was not. Oh,
And Empy was able to kill that deer.
that is the difference between a life, I think, for Wings and Walter Wight.
Yeah, if Wings had simply, thrown. Of course, it could have been a dud, but if he had just thrown at that deer instead of at Empy, then he could have saved that life.
Game over.
An overdose is going to kill that deer to close out the game, but he's only going to get 2 lives. However, if it were a damage-based scoring system, he did get the most damage because I think he rushed somebody. But yeah, very bizarre game. Honestly, I don't even know how Father Xmas got 5 kills. I don't think we saw any of them, except for that one bird early on in the game. So he must have
I
done
think
something.
still we have to believe that there's some hack that he used. I don't think that there's definitive evidence that he didn't. But at this point, good on Father Xmas. I think he figured it out. And now, on top of getting to pick the first game, he gets to pick the second game.
Exactly. And he decided to choose Flag Rally on Chaos. Do you know which? Is this from the FFA multi-pack or the?
Yeah, this is from the FFA League Pack, which a milkman developed, and he developed many versions of it. So this was version 6 on, but there were many versions of version 6. So this is version 6, the 8 plus or the 8 plus team variant.
Okay, well there you have it. Yeah, I do remember this game. It was a bit messy, and well, I don't want to spoil anything, so here we go. Yeah, so in this game we have a couple of unique units. We have this Orkin Marauder, who shoots.
It's from the 7th God plugin.
Yeah, they have a sort of a weakish melee attack and a very slow archer attack, as well as the Steel Trowel, which is, as the unit description says, a stronger version of the Trowel.
And the Steel Trowel, I think, was included for everyone's unit trade, but everything else was up for however the captain chose to go with.
Yeah, so I'm sure many people who've watched my other videos recognize this as an AVA Axis vs Allies map. It's played quite frequently, but it originally was, I think, a reg map. And as you can see, for Flag Rally, there are nine flags, pretty equidistant from each other. And so I don't think anyone has an inherent advantage. But yeah, everyone's just going to make a mad dash, except MP. MP seems to be waiting for something to happen. But everyone else making a mad dash for these flags.
Flag capture.
We'll see what happens.
Flag capture.
One kind of try to figure out what these units can do. So, is a Steel Trowel better than a regular Trowel, or?
Yeah, I think I should just turn on the auto camera.
Yeah, I think there's going to be enough going on.
Capture. Flag capture.
Kronjack, do you remember anything specific of this game of note?
Yeah, I was also trying to figure out the units. I had the impression that these trowel are slower than the regular trowel, but now I'm not sure.
I think that they seem souped up. They may be similar speed, but they seem stronger. And I
Okay,
noticed that they can go underwater. Oh, that was sad that it didn't show that warlock shot that killed a bunch of
Yeah, you know, I'm
those
gonna turn off
marauders.
this auto camera. There's a battle going on here between who is this Glassjaw and Meerkat,
Flag captured.
our good friend Meerkat.
Flag captured. Flag
I
captured.
think we might. There's some other. I think Empy might have rushed
Flag
me.
captured.
He's just kicking all my guys with his
Flag
trowel.
captured.
And on a flag rally game right now, we see Walter Wight in the commanding lead. Oh, well, now it's sort of tied. No, not quite. Father Xmas in second.
Flag captured.
For flags, he still needs one more to still be in second. So he'd need to take 2 to be in first. But this game seems like it's coming down to teams getting
Flag.
slowly annihilated.
Flag.
Yeah,
Meerkat
and
having some trouble.
Wings still with his entire army. I don't know. I think. Oh, there he is. He's just sitting on flag number 8. It seems.
Yep, he was camping this flag the whole game. I tried to grab it. I think like third flag that I tried to grab, and just turned around and said no.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not a bad strategy, but I guess unless you want to win,
It's not a bad strategy
Flag captured.
on a flag rally.
Flag.
But in this,
I mean,
as
are you
we,
talking about Wings strategy or just?
I'm talking about wing
Mainly-
strategy. Yeah, for flag rally, sometimes just going full defense can really throw players off.
Yeah, but then the problem is it's gonna inevitably be like 7-on-1. So he needs to be prepared for that. Because as everyone gets victory imminent, then and he's the only flag left, then everyone's just going to gang up on him, which is what Glassjaw and I think my Trow are in position to do.
Well, and you talked in previous weeks about how it's a very technical game in flag rally. So I guess the hope is that players kind of know,
Captured.
the flag needs to remain contested. You can't just give it to some player. So Wink could maybe back off during a period where 2 other players are contesting his flag.
And,
But right now there's
Kronjack and
the-
Overdose with the victory imminent.
Flag.
and Walter Wight, yeah, 3 victory imminents, all
Flag. Captured.
waiting on this. Walter Wight potentially with the most at stake, as Father Xmas could come in and take 3rd place. So since this is an 8-person map, the rules stated that the top 3 players don't lose a life.
Yeah, so I mean, Kronjack and I essentially are locked in. It's really a matter between you and Walter Wight and Xmas. I think Kronjack and I, we could have just gone on vacation or something, or pad our damage stats. But yeah, I mean,
Captured.
Wings is really
Flag.
a target of pretty much everybody at this point.
Flag.
He's
And
just
just
kind of
taking
sticking
it.
around. I still have arrow guys miraculously, but on second thought, these guys are pretty terrible. So I don't think I'll be getting them in the future. Father Xmas is making his move, knowing that he has to close out the game in order to win.
Captured.
But at the same time, both Kronjack and Overdose know that they can't let Father Xmas tag this flag either. So they're just as eager
Walter's
to kill
kind of
Father Xmas.
Guarding himself in the water, deep water, sorry.
Flag.
Just to make sure. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I cut you off, but
And Kronjack's going to take it. But yeah, what I was going to
Kronjack.
say is, both Kronjack and myself, we would just be as eager to kill Father Xmas as Wings. I don't know where you were. You must have been.
So I was hiding in the water. I actually sunk that. So Steel Pro can go in the water and be underwater units. And so to make sure that I wasn't getting picked off by
So
Glassjaw,
you were just camping.
I was
Okay.
I was waiting until if Father Xmas was in a position to win, then I would swoop in and try to help, but also not wanting to take damage in the meantime.
Okay, but as it stands, Kronjack was able to tag out the flag and win the game. And you know, I guess to his credit, Wings was able to get 93 damage, which was the most in the entire game. So good for him.
And make the game interesting.
Yeah, make the game interesting. But unfortunately, he just wasn't able to send out a couple of scouts to tag some of these other, because you know, literally, all these other flags were completely unguarded. Even if he just had a couple of Myrmidons just tagging flags, he could have gotten victory imminent pretty quickly. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So that's that.
I'm sorry, man.
And with that, Kronjack, you got the pick. So what was going through your mind as you select this next map?
What I did, I just clicked random map on the tame, and that's what I got. I did it
That's
in
funny.
advance. I did it the day before, so I can, you know, test if the map actually works. And yeah,
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen,
that's what we get.
yeah,
The quad.
this is his pick. So let's see what happens. Yeah. So one thing to note is that these are bowman heroes, these are dwarven heroes, berserk heroes, and a journeyman. So I don't think you can get all three of those.
Well, there's a unit trade. It's just what the points are.
Yeah, there's minor variations. Let me just quickly go through the teams. You have Meerkat and Father Xmas, MP and Glassjaw, Wings and Overdose, Kronjack and Walter Wight. So it looks like Kronjack and Walter Wight are going for sort of a split army right there. So Wings and Overdose, the same setup. MP and Glassjaw opting for a dwarf instead of the Berserk hero, and then Meerkat and Father Xmas. I'm not sure if Meerkat actually finished his trade.
No, he didn't trade because on this map you had to sell some units
Okay.
to change your setup, and he couldn't figure it out. He thought that
Okay, so unfortunately,
he
yeah, he's
couldn't
going to have a
buy
J-Man and only 2 Bowman
Flag
hero. I think
captured.
anybody who knows anything
captured.
about Myth knows that the Bowman
Flag
hero, especially in a
captured.
small map like this, are very overpowered. So it's essential to get maximum Bowman heroes. And so
Yeah,
Meerkat
Flag
immediately off the
captured.
bat is going to be at a super disadvantage. Look at this. We have Walter Wight going after this Meerkat Bowman hero. He's not going to last very long.
What's funny is I saw them kind of just not paying attention, so I started shooting the dwarf for a second, just to be like, well, if I'm getting a free shot.
Yeah, and so Walter Wight and Kronjack are able to just massacre poor Meerkat over there, and Father Xmas is really just left to fend for himself. Now Father Xmas is getting double teamed by MP, Kronjack and Walter Wight. Who is this? Glassjaw is getting double teamed by Wings and Overdose. So I think this is a good camera angle.
Flag captured.
Yeah, and there goes
Team
Meerkat and
eliminated.
Father Xmas. A nice
Flag
trap
captured.
from Walter Wight and MP, just pumping them full of arrows.
So seeing all those arrows in the corner, the only thing our team was really considering is, wow, there's a fight to be had over there. Not really even worrying about this other side of the map and the
Now we see an
position that
archers
you are
fight.
potentially taking.
MP versus Kronjack. Now MP does have 3, while Kronjack only has 2. So Kronjack wisely
Flag
backing up
captured.
a bit. Meanwhile, Overdose was able to kill Glassjaw's Bowman and Dwarf, and so Team Wings and Overdose have firm control of the middle, while MP, Kronjack, and Walter Wight have a nice archers battle. So now the tables have turned with Walter White's archers. It's now 4 versus 3. But unfortunately, Kronjack walking away, and one of Walter White's archers gets massacred. So now it's 3 on 3. However, that is a beautiful fire arrow that kills 2
Flag captured.
of the archers. But now Overdose and Overdose and Wings are shooting from the sides and pinning.
And this is just awful, awful play. Why don't you let us reset? But you are a brutal person. So
Team eliminated.
you kill us mid battle there.
1 minute remaining.
And I think
there's
now you
1 minute left.
pretty much sealed the deal. Your two bow heroes can take out anything we have left.
Yeah.
Great play. Well done. Good job, Team Wings and Overdose.
Yeah, I mean, it really could have gone any way. I mean, it's really just a bowman fight, and whoever's bowmen are the last one standing, they're probably going to win. We just happen to have started in a lucky area where both you guys were going after Team Meerkat, and that kind of allowed us to take the middle and just sort of you can see these lines that I drew. Your team was sort of in this area, so I was like, okay, let's put some archers here, let's put some archers here, and just shoot them to hell. And that's more or less what we did. But it also allowed us to take the last flag as well. So, I think it was really just, taking over the middle, sealing these little pathways, but at the same time, Meerkat unfortunately was unable to sort of, fight back this double team from MP and either both you, Walter Wight, and Kronjack. So,
Well, and having Father Xmas, who has a target on the back of his head, on his team, that's going to be a hard place to be.
yeah, it was a tough position, but that was a short and sweet game. I believe Wings was the team captain, so this is Wings' choice: Picket fences, light side, and yeah, with that, let's just jump into it. And another good old-fashioned last man on the hill. Yeah, so we have 4 teams: Xenophone, Overdose, Wings and Glassjaw, Kronjack, Meerkat, and Walter Wight, and Father Xmas and MP, a classic team of French and UK right there. Yeah, so this is an interesting map. Some of these starts are prominently, obviously better than others. Most notably, if you start in these northern areas, these fences are absolutely obstacles to overcome because you need to blow them up in order to get clear access to this flag. Whereas this team here, like there's no fences, they could just walk right into it. So but yeah, I mean, it is a last man on the hill, so there is no rush to the flag, but I would recommend against anybody choosing King of the Hill on this map, just because of all these stupid fences. And yeah.
But very different unit trades, I think, overall. Well, I guess these top northern teams got pretty similar, so that's not a good example. But let's take a look. So South has
you guys
more
got
Thrall,
a bunch of Thrall.
which I really like that unit trade, Kronjack. So I think that was a good thing to consider. Specifically, how near the flag you have this deep water. So had we kind of looked at that a little closer, I think that could have been a good strategy piece. Sink the Thrall as soon as you can. But we also kind of want to help Meerkat as he's on his learning journey to know where archers should be and everything. And I think that archers are pretty much the game changers in this as well.
Yeah, I think on Last Man of the Hill, the Thrall could be a very good unit for a last push.
Yeah, you needed to put your Thrall like here
Flag
in this
lost.
dark water. rather than
It
overdose.
eventually happens, but a bit too late, as we'll see. But
I think it happens a bit too early.
And we see Overdose shooting some MP's units. I think this might be the first real engagement. Everyone else is playing a bit passive. Xenophone and Overdose's team are getting a little bit boxed in from Team Wings and Team Father Xmas. So it'll be hard. We'll see how they maneuver out of this this pickle here. Meanwhile, everyone's just kind of leaving Team Kronjack alone. They're just happy to stand there, I guess, while Team Overdose and Glassjaw and Wings mix it up a bit.
so I think since this is technically a 4-start map, only the first place team takes anything. So I think a lot of teams are playing it kind of as safe as possible because they know that basically they either save a life or they lose.
Yep.
There's no second place in
winner
this.
takes all, or a winner. I guess winner doesn't die. So that's the only. Yeah. Yeah. We see Wings and Empy really trying to box in Xenophone and Overdose here. Again, these fences are coming into play because they're really sort of boxing in their army. Again, Team Walter Wight, Kronjack, and Meerkat completely happy to just sit there while Overdose and Xenophone have to deal with this shitstorm over here. But now it looks like Glassjaw and Empy, they might start engaging, and that will be to, or actually Empy and Xmas are backing up. So again, this is really just a testament to how passive everybody's playing. Overdose says, man, we're in a shitty position. And he is absolutely correct. With 2 minutes left, he is going to have to find some way to the flag. And he does draw on this map this little fishhook thing. Xenophone...
It was a nice fishhook.
Xenophone just has no leadership ability, so, Overdose really has to take it upon himself to actually, dish out some rules. Xenophone pointing out that he hates fences. Meanwhile, Overdose is concentrating on winning the game. So, it's kind of...
Does Kronjack... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Teaming with Xenophone is really just a handicap. I think I would have had some better results if I just played by myself, honestly. But... we see.
Well, you guys played it really well. I would say that overall, I kind of think that the team that deserves the win the most is Xenophone's team. What we see right here is a little bit kind of what Kronjack and I were talking about. We're pushing. The question is it too early? Is it too late? Knowing that all the other teams have warriors, it's difficult to know.
This water's not deep enough.
Well, you can get it. You'll still be able to get hit, but at the same time, you're not going to get hit as often.
Yeah, but I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was
should have
thinking
had
that
all
was
you
really
guys clumped up, but a dwarf.
That was also a
blowing
thing.
up
Yeah.
everybody, so. Okay, so we see
That's
Overdose sniping a dwarf here. Glassjaw is doing a rush with these warriors. Meanwhile, now Father Xmas and Empy are the ones who appear to be camping. With 10 seconds left, everyone's making a mad dash for the flag except the purple team.
So now, to Kronjack's point, now we're starting to become the target because we have so many potential thrall and everything, and so I feel like the tides turn. If we had come in a little bit later, this could have...
Glassjaw actually just wasted a heal on a red thrall right there. That probably wasn't the best thing to do. The roots can play a big role at the end, just like in a Last Man on the Hill, I'll Fall on Your Grave game or something like that, where the dual J-Man is one of the optimal unit trades, I would say. These heals.
Which is funny because back in the day, people did not trade for the dual journeyman, but that has become a new myth standard almost.
Yep, and now we have Father Xmas and Empy with a bow assault, killing overdoses, archers. Kronjack's Thrall are making a push, but Xenophone's warriors are not going to let that happen. However, this Walter Wight Dwarf is going to present a problem. He just
And
killed a lot of Xenophone's
it would be if the bows can help him.
And
but
then, so Father Xmas and Empy, they're trying to make a move.
And that dwarf falls, and slowly the bows do.
Contested.
And this dwarf is really key right here, because that can cause some huge damage.
Yes.
And the dwarf does go down. So now this is really just becoming a melee slugfest. Overdose does have 3 archers, which I think are the last artillery units on the map. Xenophone.
Oh, and those brilliant heals for Father Xmas's team seem to really, or Wings' team, I'm sorry, seem to really help out.
Xenophones should really be protecting these archers because we have the advantage, but instead, again, Xenophone, perhaps blinded by lust, just goes after this random journeyman
with the red warriors,
which allows Wings to just slaughter Overdose's archers. Overdose not too happy about that, and wow, this is an 8 kill. Well, he's dead now, but an 8 kill warrior, and now it's really just going to be a melee battle. Again, Xenophone completely abandoning Overdose's archers, which could have, I think, easily given them the win.
But I think allowing your warrior that had 8 kills to kill a dwarf and all of our archers certainly helped. Had the bows been alive, but that is the fun of a casuals tournament too. Is you got to let players fail before they kind of learn. Oh, that was the issue. But there are so many layers that develop, and as you see
when
these,
it comes to Xenophone, I am seeing a lot of failure, but I'm not seeing any learning. So there is a bit of a perhaps stunted development that I'm seeing from Xenophone, unfortunately. But
well, and I don't know that he watches these videos, and this is a big plug, but Overdose's videos teach a lot of great tactics.
Yeah, well, the tactics come from you. The color commentary comes from me. But at the end of the day, Glassjaw's Journeyman is the last unit standing. So congratulations to Wings and Glassjaw for, basically ending this game in a sort of literal last man on the hill. This Journeyman, 12 Serpent Falling Eagle, is the last man on the hill. So good for them. Overdose with the most damage. I'll point that out though. And yeah, it was an interesting game.
Team eliminated.
This, even though it's not my favorite map because of these fences, it was by far better than the first 2 games. So there is an upward
ray of hope.
Yeah, exactly. So this is game 5, the last of the free-for-all games. This would have been, was it Wings or Glassjaw? I think it might have been.
The Wings was the captain.
Yeah, okay. So
I think that this was a Wings choice.
Yeah, Wings' choice. Last Man on the Hill, Phoenix Falling. So again, 2 Last Man on the Hill games in a row. If you recall, last week, or maybe it was the Saturday week 3 games. I mean, we just had tons of flag rally, and like I think it was just flag rally, and now, some Last Man on the Hill. So it's good to see a little bit of game variance, even though I think we've seen Phoenix Falling, several times in this tournament. But
So this is actually Phoenix Rising. So this is the dark variant.
okay.
One
And
or the other.
so we
Yeah, I forget
have
which is which.
6 starts. So some people must have joined. Oh yeah, this might have been where I went outside and I handed out the password to several people, which one of the persons I gave the password to wasn't really happy about that, but I don't know what that was all about. Anyway, we have Team Wings with Xenophone, Walter Wight and Scratch, Kronjack. Unfortunately, he's playing by himself. Meerkat and Glassjaw, Father Xmas and Overdose, MP and Ion. So it's a 11-person game, and it is Last Man on the Hill, Phoenix Rising, and
And per the rules developed for this casuals tournament, any 6-team game start would, or is it 5 to 6? I think
5 to 6
essentially the
is top
top 2
two.
teams.
Yeah.
Yep, teams will be safe. So first and second place teams are safe.
Yep. So one of the interesting trades is, some people actually got dwarves, which for a map like this, you wouldn't think that they would be that useful because usually a fetch will make pretty short work of the dwarves. So it's interesting to see that.
And why do you say that? Because because the lightning can essentially pop the bottle, right?
Yeah. So
But
it's
a
interesting.
dwarven hero has huge range.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about that, but usually the fetch will kill the dwarven hero. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on. It looks like we might have a battle here between Wings and MP,
Flag.
or maybe
captured.
not. I don't know. Not really sure. Okay, so we see Team Walter Wight and Scratch making an early push for the flag. Their artillery units slowly making their way to the middle. Kronjack, he might be the only person to have gotten soulless. What was your reasoning behind getting soulless, Kronjack?
The terrain is fine for soulless, like a lot of these hills.
There's a lot of impassable terrain, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
can get you a good map control.
Yeah, and if you can get the soulless to live, through overtime, they can do a lot of damage to the trow and that sort of thing. It looks like Meerkat also decided to go for the soulless.
5
So
minutes remaining.
But in the unit trade, it does it feels like Solus could be a potentially good option because this map has the chance that it comes down to just Trow on the flag at the end, and then if it's just Trow and you have Solus, like you win. So
yeah, kind of
potentially even just one or two Solus.
reminiscent of that Twister game that we saw. What was it last?
Yeah, last week.
Last
Look at
week
that
with
range,
those-
though.
with those
Look at those
Recridian
dwarves.
giants and
Those
yeah.
aren't morts; those are dwarven heroes, and so this is kind of a major thing that it took me until this year, so what, like 20 years of myth to really understand. But dwarven heroes, their range isn't limited exactly to their ground click capability. So if a berserk, for example, if they're in range and you click on them when they're running out of range, it will target to where they're going.
Oh, Father Xmas
And
is
so
not reacting to getting bombed here.
so Walter White is just targeting units that are running away and getting almost twice the range of a standard dwarven hero.
Yeah, but
And he's got that height.
we see Father Xmas not shooting these dwarves right here, which is kind of surprising. He just basically stood there and got shot, unfortunately. So Father Xmas, maybe he was AFK or something like that, but yeah, who knows?
So the fetch can shoot about a fourth of the distance of the dwarven heroes at this point. So you can criticize him all you want, but all he could do is really block for himself.
No, I'm talking about So there were 3 dwarves standing around here, and then, these 2 fetch I think got killed from.
Yeah,
Father
and
Xmas had
since
these
right now
units.
we're at such a
Yeah.
zoomed out perspective, there was no chance his fetch were even endangering my dwarves.
Yeah, the best they
So
could do is to
you heard
pop
it
the
here.
bottles midair.
You heard it here first. Walter Wight thinks that. Uh-oh, look, we see Meerkat's Soulless getting to work here. Again, maybe these impassable terrain areas are coming into play. And then Kronjack, happy to sit here. I don't think anyone's really engaging him. And then, who's the purple team? Wings and Xenophone, they're happy to camp as well. Let's see here. Let's see
To see also,
these dwarves
again,
are,
clicking on the dwarves to get almost twice the range you can normally get out of Dwarven Hero.
Yeah, I think the Dwarven heroes have about twice the range as regular dwarves, something like that. Okay,
And so,
now
but
Meerkat.
using that tactic that I'm talking about, yep.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, we see Glassjaw not really paying attention. He should be just killing these dwarves, but instead.
Well, again, it's to the point. There's no chance. The fetch would only be able to shoot about a fourth the distance of where we're at. So right now, this hill that we're on, I'm throwing like probably a third like 3 times more distance than any player really expects.
I'm not. I'm saying these fetch. I don't know. Maybe
No,
I'm
no,
not
and then what I'm
articulating-
saying is,
these. Okay, so these fetch are blowing up.
all the
Father
fetch could do
Xmas
is
right
defend
here.
themselves. Yeah, they
No,
couldn't.
I'm
hit-
saying these fetch didn't defend themselves. They just got shot.
Oh yeah.
They were
Yeah,
just
exactly.
walking by. I don't think they noticed these dwarves, and so the dwarves were able to kill.
Well, that was
the
also a
fetch
nice thing.
when usually the fetch will kill the dwarves. Just like this, Empy is not really moving at all.
So this became the biggest problem, is Scratch and I hadn't really developed a rhythm, and so
30 seconds remaining.
I was hoping I had told Scratch to guard our rear, but he maybe misheard that, and
Oh, that was a great throw. It was like a ricochet shot. Uh-oh, but now Xenophone is... I mean, the problem is you got to hold it for another 5 seconds, but I think everyone's making their move now, so
well, and fetch,
Scratch and Walter Wight need to pretty much fight off everybody.
and when your fetch are close to your dwarves, you can blow yourself up. So it becomes like a suicide pact if you're not like really on the exact same page. So
Yeah, unfortunately, explosions are happening, bombs are going off, everyone's making their move. Big melee.
and now it's kind of a play for. If you look at the teams, there's Kronjack and Wings at over 80%. Everyone else is kind of out of the game, so it's a play for second place or first between Kronjack and Wings.
Yeah,
Kronjack, he just woke
Kronjack
up,
is
though.
really just so far away from from the hill.
So I think that was a symptom of last game where he really wanted to wait, to get in there, and that could have saved more Thrall, could have saved more archers and things, but well,
Flag.
look at this. He is absolutely right, folks.
Game. Over.
Yeah, that was
No casualties.
that is a 100% victory from Kronjack there. So
No casualties.
Yeah.
I like that confidence.
no casualties. I don't even know if he took one. I mean, he took a little bit of damage, but most of his units are super green. He waited for his time to strike, and he just took over the
Timing.
game. So well
I say,
done.
Kronjack, you might be the king of timing,
I just care about my men. I
Yeah,
want
exactly.
everybody to leave, to
That's
go
a
home
great
after
strategy.
battle.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
It's easy in Myth to get bloodthirsty, and that was an early error of my ways, and I still fight that habit. But as players have said, like, at least kill more than you are killed. That's like the tried and true rule. Is so if you need to set like a guidance for yourself, maybe just send up, and you want to like gain more damage in games, send up one or two, but just make sure they kill three. you know.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now we will go into the two-team games. I think it's the same group of people. So let's just get into it. This is Flag Rallies, Tears of Covenant, and we have Team Xenophone with Wings, Overdose, Glassjaw, Walter Wight going up against Team Empy with Kronjack, Father Xmas, Meerkat, and Scratch. Xenophone does not know what units to get, and Scratch thinks this might be co-op. So a little bit of confusion amongst some of the veteran players, but yeah, we'll see what happens. It seems like Walter Wight is giving out a unit trade. We'll see if Empy is able to come up with one of his own, because I don't think anyone's really helping him.
Or if Xenophone even follows it.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, this game a lot of times really just comes down to this middle battle.
But on Flag Rally, you do need to be aware of your flags. So
Yeah, I mean,
I think if you can get some competent people in the middle, you're going to be in a good place.
Overdose saying we can eliminate Kronjack if we win, and he appears to be happy about that. I don't know what that's really about.
That's
What does that
business.
emoji mean? It's a tongue pointing out. Kind of a nana boo boo.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant? Would you say that you said we can eliminate Kronjack if we win nana boo boo? Would you say that were your words?
No, this is a smiley face. But yeah, I don't know. It looks like Empy has decided to give all of his units to Father Xmas, and so I guess Father Xmas is sort of the one who's really pulling the strings. Even though Empy is more or less a ceremonial captain, Father Xmas deciding to give.
Much like the Queen, rest in peace.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, the Queen passed away today. In case you're wondering, for the World War II tournament, we are planning a 21-gun salute. If you happen to be around, please join us, and we will honor the Queen that way in our World War II tournament. And okay, so Scratch has been given the Trow for Team Empy.
Game on.
Meerkat has been given a bunch of mauls. Everyone else, more or less, artillery, I think. For Team Xenophone, I think. So Walter Wight got 2 Trow. Xenophone got 1. Who is this?
So the interesting thing, so how I played that is I expected to get 3, then I would go all mid, like you said. Mid is the kind of important battle, but since
Flag.
I see I have 2 and 1 Trow went, north, I saw, okay, so our first kind of gun is let's grab some quick tags, but then okay, let's make sure that middle is defended, and know exactly where all their Trow are. So we see all 3 of their Trow mid, flexing even, doing this taunt mechanism. But this is Flag Rally, so kind of just keep them off guard and protect your guys mid.
Here we see Overdose going to get to work with these Dwarven mortars.
Oh, and he could get ripped to
Fortunately,
shreds by those 3.
And now it looks like Walter Wight might be able to, almost getting a trap there. He does score a little bit of damage. There's going to be
But
a
it's 2 versus 3
Warlock trade
Trow.
right there.
Walter is very knowing that our
Overdose
units
with
are
some
very vulnerable.
great mortar work there, blowing up a huge pack of. Here, okay, so there's a bit of a fight out here in the corner. It looks like Team Xenophone's going to get that flag.
Same health Mercuridia versus same health Mauls. Mercuridia will always win. So this is a
Okay, now we have a trow fight going on. Overdose is able to help kill one of those trow. Ooh, a couple of errant fireballs from Kronjack, maybe. Overdose with those mortars. He's going to do some damage to these mauls, probably.
Walter doing his best to really protect Overdose, making sure that those 3 Trow can't even get close to him.
Well, there's
And,
only 2 trow, and also Overdose could have protected
Well,
himself.
there
He
were
doesn't
3.
need Walter Wight, just saying that. But also,
Well, then Walter White should have pulled all 2 of those. No,
he should have,
He'd be
because
fine.
my Mercuridia would have killed anything. But yeah,
you
these,
wouldn't have killed all 3 of those.
these
No.
Mercuridia, there's only 2 trow, man.
There were 3 that we took out the one because we trapped it together.
Yeah, so I don't know what you're angry about. But yeah,
His
so
wife
these-
and husband bickering.
Oh, okay, so there we go.
So basically,
we got
so also
we got
I
Xenophone
pulled
able-
my mercs and took the last 3 flags there. Down south.
Yeah, so we have Xenophone flagging tag number 4 to close out the game. I didn't see any kind of side presence from Empy's team to try and tag these flags. So I think Empy's strategy.
Oh, I
might have
guess I
been
thought
to-
I'd gotten it. Oh, because those mercs were so close. I thought that my mercs had taken it. But that was good that his trow that has 3 kills and no damage was able to take it.
Yeah, one thing you should always remember is never give Xenophone the giant units. Never give him a forest giant. Never give him a trow. Never give him a Mercuridian giant, because he'll die very quickly, as I think some of these later videos might show.
At least he didn't die.
Yeah, but at the same time, he didn't really take any damage either, which means that he didn't really give any damage except 7. So I think that third trow might have been better off just going to the middle, whereas...
Well, that's why I was trying to say that like it was 2 trow against 3 trow, and they had all their units up there. So like, I'm trying to both protect you and get out of your way as best I can. But you made like some of the best, like mortar shots I've ever seen. So I think in general, like just we get to rah-rah ourselves.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we played together as much as we have over the years, there's sort of a, I don't know, subconscious, synergy that happens. I hate using that word synergy because it's a marketing word, but
And I love that word synergy.
there is some credibility to that word. But yeah, I mean, I think that third trow would have been better off in the middle, and sending some mauls or Mercuridia down the sides would have had the same sort of effect.
I have to admit that I nerded out and rewatched this, and there was a moment that I was like walking right in the way of your morts, and you needed the shot, and I paused it, or like paused the trow so that you made the shot, whereas 90% of the time I feel like in games like this it's easy to just shoot a mort shot straight into your taller trow, and so it was that sort of like you knew that you needed to fire. You wouldn't have fired if you thought that I was going to walk in front, but I needed to stop, and so it was like it was nice when I saw it, and I was like clap clap.
All right, well, there you have it. But also one thing to note is that leading the team leading the way in terms of damage for Team MPU's Meerkat with a respectable 46 damage. I think it came mostly from this maul rush, and at the end of the day, most of these mauls were sort of slaughtered by my Mercuridia. but he was able to account for almost half of his team's damage. So good for him. He's definitely making some good strides, plenty of improvement, and it'll be exciting to see what he has in store for us in future games. Walter,
Him
quickly,
and maybe his dad.
yeah, maybe his dad too. What's your opinion on mortars versus warlocks in this game? Do you think having these two mortars as opposed to having two warlocks really made the difference?
So warlocks can like the issue is that they can only shoot in a straight line, right? So if anything gets in front of them, they're easily blockable. Mortars can shoot over things so long as there isn't a tall enough unit in front, or someone stands directly in front of their shot. So it kind of goes back and forth. In general, a warlock is going to get, if you get like a direct hit on a massive, like a sprawl of units, you're going to get better damage. But a mort shot is going to do better damage than like a dwarven bottle. It can shoot a little farther, and it can kind of shoot over a lot of your units. So on maps like this, maybe like Clash and the Cloud Spine, mortars are presumably more effective, but at the same time, a lot of these ones, a competent person that's running Trow can basically stand in the way and defend any shot that's really going to hurt the melee units so that the melee units can do their most effective maneuver. So it all kind of comes down to player, and if you get a greedy person, maybe like you're suggesting with Xenophon.
No, it's not
uh,
Xenophon, it's Xenophone.
I see. He was very particular in a chat recently, but if you get a
No, because Xenophon actually refers to, like, I believe an ancient Greek philosopher or something. But this is Xenophone, which is a jackass who plays World War II. So there's a
oh, I
difference
see.
between the two. Yeah.
So Xenophon, I'll split the difference. May have gotten kind of in the way of himself a bit.
Okay. But yeah, Dwarven Mortars versus Warlocks, a very interesting debate. Of course, one thing Walter didn't mention is that sometimes the mortar duds, whereas the Warlock Fireball always explodes. So that's one other thing to consider. But yeah, just like what you said, mortars on Clash on the Cloud Spine, it's these sort of terrain, up on a hill type fights. The Dwarven Mortar is going to be more useful usually, and then but I think just kind of in general I'd rather have a warlock, but
Yeah, and flat terrain, particularly without trow, I would always prefer a lock. But that also comes down to like unit trade, and sometimes there is an advantage to sometimes getting an obscure unit, because really seasoned players can use a mortar to block a warlock shot. It
yep,
can prematurely blow the fireball.
exactly, unless it does, and then you're screwed, which does happen a lot,
That
unfortunately.
happened in an earlier cast
Yeah.
where I got a little heated in the chat.
Okay, so now we have capture the flag, smash the mirror. This is the one of the newer maps that was modified by HMP, one of the best map makers there is, and I believe this was recently played in the Myth World Cup.
Look at this over alphaing I'm doing, where I say, sorry, mirror, might vita you as cap. And there was a clause that it's potential that players that are technically dead per the rules might not be able to cap. But I think this is casual. Let's have fun. Let's let's throw you to the ringer, and at least give you a trade of some sort.
Yeah, so I think we're or you're
I'm
basically,
referring to the chat, the in-game chat. I'm sorry.
yeah, you're sort of recommending the Homer trade with the maximum
What's funny is that I
Brianor.
didn't actually watch any of the MWC games, so I was only kind of recommending based on a game I had played the previous night, where both teams were insistent that Bray Unar were actually valuable. Usually they're joke units, they're not great. But the
Yeah,
interesting thing about them is they are the fastest unit. Maybe they're equal to a Gaul, but they're essentially one of the fastest units, and they can throw on this map. So they're actually kind of an interesting unit.
yeah, I
MP
think,
always says Max Bray.
yeah, well, most people shouldn't really put much stock into what MP says. Anyway, let me quickly go through the teams. We have Team Meerkat, the Criminals, with Meerkat himself, Wings, Overdose, Glassjaw, and Walter Wight, going up against Team Kronjack with Xenophone, MP Scratch, and Father Xmas. So on the surface, it would seem like these teams are actually quite equal. I think Kronjack has a little more captaining experience than Meerkat, but if you look at sort of the composition of both teams, these are pretty even, I would say, and it should lead to a pretty interesting game. Yeah.
And I'm
So
actually really proud that Meerkat didn't just like bow under pressure and say, "Oh, okay, let's restart." No, he said, "No, I want to do this." So I give a lot of credit to that dude.
okay. Yeah. I mean, just looking at the difference in trades, it looks like Team Kronjack went very heavy with the dwarves. There's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 dwarves. Of course, maximum Stygian knights, probably maximum warriors, and a whole bunch of thrall. That's the difference is mostly these dwarves. Meerkat's team only got 2 dwarves, and I think a handful more bowmen, and then of course those Brianor. So that's mostly the difference there.
Oh, there is another very important difference. I didn't get any calls
Oh, that's
at
right.
all. I
So
got
you have no real fast
why.
units. Yeah, that's. Oh, and you have all those whites.
Yeah, it was a sad case of Kronjack blindness. I didn't see any Heron Guards or G-Men in the trade, so I thought we can't get any pass bombs.
So why did you get whites though?
I
That's
thought I thought that the water is deep. I thought,
oh,
okay, I'm
okay.
gonna sink some whites, use them as defense.
There's
Um,
just so
but
little water at any like real useful places. So you gotta kind of try to anticipate where the majority of units are going to end up. It seems like this map like is ripe for flanks,
yeah,
but ultimately the mid battle, as per usual, is the thing. But the mid battle sinks a lot more than people expect on this. It doesn't seem like that drastic of a decline, but between where the pumpkins are up north there and where the watermelons are down south, there's a pretty steep decline towards that middle section.
Oh yeah. Speaking of watermelons, I mean we're really just a month away from that time of year, and that autumn cooking is my favorite. Love the cranberries, the pumpkins, the apple pies, Thanksgiving, all that stuff. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, so we see Walter White with the Brianor, just sort of scouting out the area. It seems, doing some damage when he can. Overdose with his group of units, relatively unopposed. These Scratch and Xenophone units are trying to envelop all of these artillery. There's no warrior. they're all way back here behind the thrall. You should always have your Stygian knights and warriors in front of the thrall, unless you're using the thrall as a meat shield. But they really need to be backing up these archers here because correctly Glassjaw and Scratch are rushing, even though they're backing off now because the thrall are coming. But yeah, I mean these guys absolutely need to be on the front lines.
taking any potential shots. It seems like Kronjack's team is kind of figuring things out right now. They're having some issues. MP's bows are just running away instead of shooting any shots, but they kind of have to. But in a more civil game, potentially, all of the artillery units that are possible, particularly archers, would be up front, shooting as many projectiles, doing as much, even just like tiny damage. It's a matter of annoying and it's a matter of attacking, but then also defending these Breunar who are not particularly adept at close combat, so that the enemy team's Stygian Knights don't just kind of walk in and annihilate them.
Well, I got you, man. I got my my thrall coming to help you out.
And to lure to your thrall is ideally a last place tactic, but thankfully the east side of Meerkat's team is starting to understand the memo. But yeah, no, absolutely overdose protecting Walter Wight right there.
You see a couple of stray whites, 3 of them actually.
What was interesting is that the
Oh yeah, here we go. We see this sneaky Heron Guard hero or Heron healer coming around. Father Xmas being particularly disgusting. He notices that there's only 4 thrall, and he actually has 6 heals. So if he were to be skilled, he could actually just heal, and win the game.
Yeah.
We'll see if he's able to do that.
And this is the moment when I saw that as well, and I thought, okay, the game is over.
I think
But this is the
kind
moment
of all
I
see
realized
it.
it, where I was like, okay, well, here comes this French clown. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
here-
use my 4 thrall to kill this guy.
If you look at the chat, I just say
Let's
good
zoom
text-
in on this crucial kill here.
Contested. Flag.
Yeah, I was trying to lure him with that one thrall. He is able to heal.
Oh, this could be rough. Nice.
Good timing on his part, and he's able to kill him. So.
And this is outside of popular belief. It's not a Heron Guard hero. It's a Heron Guard healer.
Yeah, healer.
Which essentially has the exact same skills as a Heron Guard, but has more heal. He has 6 heals like a journeyman, essentially. In this particular map.
Kronjack, what were your feelings towards Father Xmas when you saw him blow that flag steel?
Surprised at first.
Yeah, so there's like this 7 stages of grief or whatever. Like you're angry, and then you learn to accept it, and then you just kind of get over it. So like what stage were you at when you saw it?
Yeah, this game was.
You're
like,
sadistic, Odie.
I was going through a lot of emotions. Like at first, at that point, before I saw that flank, I thought we lost the game because of the huge percentage difference. I thought, okay, we lost the fight. I messed up the trade.
Flag. Contested.
I got a ton of whites. I didn't get any calls. Then I saw that Heron Guard healer, and
You're like, thank you, Father Xmas.
yes, I'm pretty confident that I myself would be able to steal that flag.
Those are some words right there.
Yeah, well, the thing to remember is that French people are not used to being on offense. They're used to being on defense. They're used to getting they're used to getting invaded all the time. And so perhaps you should have stuck Father Xmas on defense, and maybe you should have taken his Heron Guard healer and won the game for yourself.
Father Xmas has not won a game yet this match, you guys. You are being brutal to him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna go into those filthy stereotypes about French people. They're actually great warriors prior to the World War II. But anyway, yeah, I was kind of set again. So I think from that point on, we were trying to play for a draw. I was trying to get my team to be more defensive. Here you can see the dwarves I get in position, but at the same time, yeah, at the same time, I think at this point I realized we don't really have any opportunity to go and take the flags.
Yeah, I think at this point it's you have half as much unit percentage as Meerkat's team. That's pretty rough. I did want to point out just an interesting fact for anyone that ever gets a Bray Unar, and I don't know if they're different on this map, but they certainly did not seem to throw their boomerang or their croissant, as I've heard some people call it, at things like dwarves. They would only throw them really at melee units. They wouldn't throw them at the white. So I could only get them to really throw at those type of units with a ground click. And I don't know if that was like a bug or if that's intentional, but either way, if you've ever experienced that, it's real.
Yeah, it's a little HMP magic maybe. I think a lot of his maps are generally bug free. So if there's anything
Yeah, I wouldn't
that's
think that it's a
weird,
bug. I think it's just the unit that Bungie designed, and I think we take it at that value. You know, it's just Breunar can maybe they basically like stand there like they're gonna throw, but they're just like stunned. You know, like I'm impressed. There's a dwarf here.
Flag contested.
Yeah, I mean the Brie or Nor is probably a unit that you know, the myth community knows the least about. Oh, so what was that? Is that wings getting exploded? Very
So
Case of
yeah.
satchel charges working in a network game.
yeah, that was a beautiful trap from Empy, or I don't know if he laid the satchels, but he definitely set the trap and blew up some archers and the Heron healer. Well done by him.
Flag lost.
As one of Meerkat's consorts, I really was surprised that that happened because I really thought that the game was pretty much over, and maybe Wings did too, but certainly a little bit more lazy play that we see from the criminals.
Yeah, exactly. But they do have this huge mass of 20-something thrall. You know, able to kill a Stygian Knight. Overdose has a huge group of units just kind of sitting on the flag. I'm not sure why. Perhaps he's waiting for some other Father Xmas flanking attack, which it doesn't appear as though there is one. And it'll be interesting to see if the criminals can actually close this game out in 2.5 minutes, because Team Kronjack still has plenty of units, and you know,
With unit percentage, it's I mean, if you're thinking only from the point of winning, you know, you don't need to win with style or anything. You're thinking all you need is one flag, right? So that's kind of the downside of this map. Like it would be almost
Flag contested.
it would be almost better if you had to take both flags in order for it to count. But as the perm would indicate, if one person takes 3 flags, that team would beat the other team, and it would be game over. So
Meerkat suiciding some warriors there.
but to win with style, you take all flags.
Well, don't talk to me about style.
Yeah, but
I have
at this
none.
point we both have one flag because Father Xmas was able to snatch one of yours.
Yes.
Oh no, you don't though, because we got it back.
Yeah, we
As
took
you-
it
as you
back.
see.
Ah, okay. So you
This is
have to
not flag
control it.
rally. Yep, for
Ah,
capture the
okay.
flag, you have to maintain control.
Yeah, you can recapture the flag.
Yeah, the flags that have numbers on them are tallies. You've gotten it. Now you can move on. Flags without any Roman numerals on them
You cut out a bit there, Walter. Can you repeat yourself?
1 minute.
I was just saying, like flags with Roman numerals on them are the type of game type where you basically can take it and leave the flag. All others are more like Last Man on the Hill, where you contest it and it's not your flag until it's finished being contested, but then someone can take it later on.
Okay,
You know,
gotcha.
it's the last man on those flags. Yep.
All right, so team Team Meerkat having a little bit of trouble closing this game out, and actually, if Xenophone was able to kill this Brianor
Contested.
and hold this flag, they actually could have pushed for a tie, I think.
Well, and all Meerkat needs to really do is just kill. But at the same time, it's almost better that he didn't. You know, but it wasn't a strategy thing. It doesn't look like specifically. To your credit, they just need to walk off.
Contested. Sudden death.
But Meerkat,
Contested. Flag.
I
Contested.
think, in not killing, allows his team to make it all the way over with that
Captured.
huge thrush
Contested.
of Thrall
Flag.
to
Contested.
kill this.
Flag lost.
Yeah, but it looks like these Wings melee units are just getting slaughtered. He's just walking by while these Scratch melee units are going to town.
It was an interesting play. It was like Wings was like halfway there during this game because
Flag.
we've certainly seen better play from him.
Lost.
Yeah, I mean,
Perhaps he had made a deal with the other team, but
he walked into this trap, and then his melee performance, not too admirable. But
there are some things you can't avoid being looked at as actively tanking your team. So Gabba, we look at you, Gabba, Mr. Wings. That's your other name. Did you tank the game, or what was the issue there?
yeah, maybe we'll never know. But the reality is he's leading the field. Well, he may be leading the field after the end of week 4. Who knows? Just quickly, Wings 58 damage, Overdose 64 damage. Good job from them. Scratch leading the damage for Team Kronjack. And this is again one of the sort of newer, updated versions of HMP's Smash the Mirror, and we look.
It's a fun map.
We hope that map can get integrated into the standard rotation of maps moving forward.
Beautiful too.
Yeah, it's a very fun map, and Overdose great job on attaining max damage too.
Oh yeah, I think this is I got max damage on this game and on this game, so it's not really a big deal for me. I'll probably get max damage on this game too, so it's a casual.
Maybe we should incorporate that.
Who's keeping score? But anyway, so this is Dead of Winter, King of the Hill. We have Team Wings with Xenophone, Empy, Overdose, Walter Wight. Against Team Father Xmas with Kronjack, Scratch, Glass, John, Meerkat, and Ion. One thing to note is that it is 5-on-6, so Wings is down a person. Has it always been 5-on-6? I don't.
No, it was even until this game, so we lost a player.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit late for me, so I don't know. MP again saying Max Bree. He did say that they didn't have enough Bree last game, and he was actually correct. He said it's why we lost.
When he was on the Myth World Champion team, which had Max Bree the last time they played them.
Yeah, but I mean, do you expect him to pay attention to such things?
No, I think that he just likes Max Bree as part of his personality.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him being sort of a Brianor kind of person. So let's just quickly compare the armies. We have 10 archers, close to maximum warriors, I think. And then, of course, maximum Stygian Knights, 4 whites, 2 dwarves. On the other side, we see a lot more Thrall. We see, I think, some fewer warriors. But yeah, the main difference is the Thrall and the 10 archers, I would say. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about the Thrall versus the archers in a King of the Hill game?
So in general, I feel like that's I would think that getting more thrall is a better choice. You could potentially get more time on the flag. The interesting choice with this is a 10-minute King of the Hill game, which is a little bit long. So getting archers can be a legitimate strategy, but it's kind of like on a game that's so crucial to basically slowly own the flag. I would think that Thrall would be the better option, but Wings shows all fast units and archers and things like that. So
Yeah, it's interesting because in a
Game
map like this, the dwarves are typically the biggest threat to Thrall. But in a Dead of Winter map, the dud percentage is slightly increased, and so dwarves are a little bit less effective, which sort of by association means that the Thrall are slightly more effective. So yeah, I mean maybe the Father Xmas trade is, he's showing his knowledge of the game and his experience as a captain, whereas Wings, he might just be going for projecting sort of a longer drawn out game based off these archers. Maybe he's expecting Empey to sort of World War II with these archers, but I mean, again,
well, there's another way to look at it. So I actually thought that Father Xmas might take more archers, and so I thought actually getting a higher archer percentage in a 10-minute King of the Hill game would be better. So it's just kind of an interesting thing that there's one team with absolutely none, and there's one team with kind of half and half. And so, however Wings decided, it is an interesting choice, and I'd be interested to know if it was for a reason.
one thing
If
to
it
note,
works or not.
yeah, one thing to note is that Father Xmas did not send a goal to tag, so Team Wings is able to get close to 30 free seconds just from Overdose's goal there. That
Flag
perhaps
contested.
is a bit of a mistake on his part. Walter Wight pushing back these melee units. But Glassjaw and Kronjack are able to fight back and push Walter Wight backwards. And again, this is a King
But
of the Hill map, so
allow us to continue contesting the flag. That's a huge thing.
one problem might be these dwarves. I forgot to mention that Team Father Xmas got 4 dwarves. Team Wings only got 2 dwarves. So there is a bit of a difference there. Oh, geez. A huge explosion in the middle. I'm not sure whose units were
The
killed.
Scratch, after the fact, admitted to being the person that had set the gold trap.
Okay.
But I think that he ended up blowing up more of his team than he did Team Wings.
That wouldn't be the first time that happened. MB is focusing all of his 10 archer or 8 archers' energy on shooting this goal. They could have been on this front line here, raining death on, some more useful units. I think he got.
I think
idea.
Overdose and Walter Wight are just kind of eating up a lot of these units, particularly Overdose playing an extremely strong game.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, it's really just Thrall.
Flag
I
contested.
think all of those Stygian Knights, all of those warriors
With
might
Father
have gone
Xmas,
up
you
in that.
see these goals here though coming up. Are they trying to do something on these? Well,
Oh, there's
that's
just
a good
one.
spread by Empey. Okay. Oh, there's just
Yeah.
one. I'm
That's
colorblind apparently.
that is the spread of a Myth World Cup champion right there. That's how they do it. But yeah, I think a lot of Father Xmas's units might have gone up in this massive explosion here,
Contested.
and then all they really had left was these Thrall.
The Thrall, the major disadvantage to getting that many is if you don't use them correctly, then they become essentially meat and chopping experience. And so you start to see these Stygian Knight characters, these warriors, be able to chop so much faster, and it just gets increasingly more and more. So if you choose to get a heavy Thrall pushed, you really need to focus on how you're doing it.
Yeah, usually, if you're trying to push the other army off the flag, you want Thrall first. But if it's a last man on the hill, you probably want Thrall behind. But yeah, I mean, Thrall are definitely useful, but just walking all your fast units, then having your slow units way behind, and then just making a single file line to the flag, that's not going to work.
That's not the way to do it.
Yeah. So even though Father Xmas, again, I'll agree with you, Walter Wight. I think he did have the better trade. The execution was a bit lacking, and so yeah, I mean, whereas Wings, he might have had. I don't think his trade was necessarily bad, but I did like Xmas's trade a little better. But to pat ourselves on the back, the execution was there, and I think that's largely why we were able to get a win.
Game over.
Nah, it was that whole ball.
It was a horrible game, yeah. Well, there's always two sides of the coin, right? Okay, so this is Raisin Barn, capture the flag. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
No.
Let's do it. Come on, man.
All right. I mean, we're pushing an hour and a half now, so I just wanted to make sure nobody wanted any breaks or anything like that.
I didn't know you had the technical skills. Sorry.
Yeah. So we have Team Overdose with Father Xmas, Meerkat, Xenophone, Geralt Toad, and Ion against the Soulblighters, Walter Wight, MP Wing, Scratch, and Kronjack. This is, again, capture the flag, Raisin Barn. This is pretty interesting. I think this is, the 2007... There's several variations of this map. I think I just chose one random one. But there are, I think, several variations.
The Forest Giant is interesting. I think just strategy-wise, if we look at that, I don't know if you wanted to just talk about that, but what's interesting is there's not like a journeyman. There's 3 pus that are technically there, but you can get whites. But what is interesting on a Forest Giant map is essentially that you can explode a white, and then you can get like kind of dud pus for the most part. It's always a bonus because there's like a 10 to 15% chance or something, something very low that you might end up with another large pus. But Forest Giants can be stunned, and Forest Giants make this whole game.
Yeah, I think they're formally called small pus. Like, these are called large pus, and then the other ones are just called small pus. But
I just call them like dud pus, but that doesn't make sense. Yeah, because they do something.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
but
some of
small
these
pus,
big ones do dud. So then there's like dud big pus and then dud small pus. It
Oh,
doesn't
that
make
makes
sense.
sense.
So just call it big pus and small pus. I think that's the way to go. Anyway, just quickly, Overdose giving Xenophone a Forest Giant. I think he's opting to keep one for himself. He's splitting the Soulless with Father Xmas, or he hasn't distributed yet. Let's see who he gives the other Soulless to. Ion, he really likes Warlocks. He likes to just have one Warlock, so I think Overdose obliged and just traded for this one Warlock. He does give Geralt the other Soulless. which means that Meerkat will probably get a Dwarven Mortar and some melee units. On the other side, we have Walter Wight, who decided to also split the Forest Giant, keeping one for himself and then giving one to Wings. Is this Max Zerx? Or almost?
Yeah, I think it's Max Zerx.
Okay, so
It seems like with that one like dangler, I'm not sure, but I think it's Max Zerx.
okay, Max Zerx. Basically 6 artillery units, 3 warlocks, 3 mortars. So slightly more artillery than Team Overdose, who I think only got 2 mortars and 1 warlock.
Which I was surprised by. I actually thought you loved artillery, so...
Well, I did get artillery, just soulless instead of,
the morts and things, yeah. And we got no soulless, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, you didn't get any soulless. Yeah, and so we see Overdose exploding one of his whites. He is that 15%. He is able to get a big puss.
I got 3 whites.
Unfortunately, Walter Wight pussed himself, or Kronjack pussed himself or something.
No, I was running the white, so it landed on them, but they didn't really feel it that much.
Well, that's why they're Thrall Elite.
It was drizzling. It was raining.
Yeah.
But we didn't get one of those big ones. So you got 4 to our 3, so that is potentially an advantage. But again, in these casual games, it's like, okay, can the players capitalize on those kind of little victories? My thing as captain right now was gathering, making sure that all Gauls were equipped. So I picked up all of those small pus and made sure that it was ready. But
yeah, for Forest Giant maps, it's always essential to have pus goals, whether they're big pus or small pus, whatever. You absolutely have to load up. So that's one of the priorities. Xenophone is really maybe almost rushing. I'm not sure what he's doing. Maybe he's just...
Kronjack makes some pretty great moves here once he gets his pus goals, but
then
it might be later on.
His Forest Giant, he's sort of scouting things out, I think. So it looks like I'll try and just show all 4 Forest Giants if I can, because that's where the action usually...
This mid-fight is going to precipitate right now.
Okay, so we see some damage there. And then a nice pus. I'm not sure who... Geralt. Okay, well, it makes sense that it's a Geralt pus. Because now Overdose's Forest Giant's going to get attacked.
But Walter Wight suffering a lot of damage, but killing a lot of units on his Forest Giant, but only being halfway damaged and chasing that one out of the picture without any support. That Forest Giant has no choice but to back up its other units or fall all the way back. And with such a new team, it's a good move, I think, to press towards their flag by Walter Wight, but this is also that's a Kronjack move. Kronjack planned it with Wings to nail it, and he nailed one of those small pus, which changed the entire game, taking out that other Forest Giant. Just...
And there's another curious thing that happens with the
a dud pus right there.
Extra pus for the tax evaders, because it will come into play later. Yeah, just take a note of that extra dud.
Sorry, what?
Take a note of the extra dud down there.
Yeah.
This one?
Am I too quiet?
No,
I can hear you. I just couldn't understand you. Sorry.
And right now, Walter's moving in on this final push. He's got a pretty decent set of units. Still a pretty hardy.
Oh, a dud.
Yep.
This dud here.
Oh, you did have. Oh, you did have another. I didn't see that you had that. That could have. That could have been good, but I think it would have still like splashed onto some of your thrall. But they have a less regen time,
Yeah,
so you would have gotten more chops.
The
So
thrall elite are
there's a
pretty useless.
potential. Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, I mean,
they can actually stun. So there are some advantages to thrall. They're better than thrall, but they're not like an elite unit like it makes them sound. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I seem to remember a thrall elite, or actually not even a thrall elite, just a regular thrall killing the what is it, Warrior of Thel in in that Paris tournament that we were on the same team on. Man, that
I know.
I'll never
but
forget.
a thrall elite is okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, there were some unfortunate pus duds. But yeah, I mean, Walter White's team took the initiative, and they didn't really stop. Wings with 102 damage. I think most of it was done kind of in this area.
Yeah, kind
one
of due to
thing too.
Kronjack's kind of nailing. So I actually really felt that that was a huge play. Although we would have won without that battle taking place, that was the delay that everything needed. So the precipice of the entire game almost took place down in that like southern east region of the map, but ultimately, it's capture the flag. So just grab the flag if you can.
Yeah, one thing to note is that in addition to losing his own forest giant, I gave, once you had started crossing this river and I had to focus on defending the flag, I gave my forest giant, my second, the second forest giant to Xenophone. It's worth noting that with two forest giants, Xenophone was able to get 5 damage and 2 kills. So
Yeah,
not
and
much of a performance. Again, 2 forest giants, 5 damage. Again, this is why you should not give Xenophone the forest giants, the Trow, the Mercurian giants, any kind of unit that you wish to actually have an impact on the game. Don't give it to him. Don't let him captain your team. And just
These are just such harsh things to hear. I don't even know the guy that well, and I feel like you're no, like don't let's not exclude this man from the myth community. That seems too much. I think Overdose is just merely creating banter. Is that true,
I mean, I'll
or
just
do you
say
hate
he
the
should just
person?
stick to World War II. I'll put it that way.
Team eliminated.
I just want to note that the second forest giant was also stunned by my call. So it was me, Kronjack. Let it
Project, that was
begin.
actually no, that was such a good play.
So
You know, it,
you killed his second forest giant?
Yeah, I killed. Well, I didn't kill it. I stunned both of them,
he
and
caused the
Okay.
kill essentially
Yes.
the
because of the
second
like
So
the
and that's
second
the hard
one.
thing when we look at stats in general, and this has always been an interesting aspect of myth is some of the elite quote unquote players over the years have been like, well, look at your damage, well, look at this, look at your kills, or yeah, but are you a player like Kronjack that actually creates the move that facilitated you to get all that damage and those kills? Or are you just, you're commenting because you ended up with, a hearty meal as a lion, I guess.
yeah, sorry, Kronjack. I didn't get
We
that second pus. I was filming somewhere else. I should have tried to catch it.
yeah, that's fine. The game was, as you said, the game was won or lost regardless of that move. But it really did feel good because it was the dead pass that your team thrown before that I was able to pick up and sort of utilize. I
Okay, killed with our
also,
own pus.
yep,
But
and I
but on
also
the other hand
won.
of that, I appreciate you saying that, Kronjack. But had I gone too far in and I didn't win that fight, it would have been like that was the game changer. Like if it essentially came down to body count, you won the game for us because of that one move. So it's like we won either way, but it was all, technically on you essentially making sure that that happened, because I was able to rush the flag because they got paused, and then you guys annihilated them on the Eastern Front.
Yeah, and I really also have to give a shout out to Wings because we kind of had to coordinate. He was running
Definitely.
the Forest Giant for our team, and I think some Zerix. So we were like moving together
Yeah,
to do.
that's like that the word that Overdose hates, the synergy of myth is when you
Yeah.
work in tandem, and like that other player is clicking at the exact same time as you. It's beautiful.
I mean, I wouldn't call it beautiful, but I would say that's what myth is all about.
Maybe
You
you'd
know,
call it gorgeous,
no, I'd say it's okay.
or
It's
just like
acceptable. But anyway, let's just
exceptional.
move on right now. So we have this is game 10, assassin on some map. I don't remember the name, but it's Scratch, Father Xmas, Overdose, Xenophone, and Wings versus Team Empy with Ion, Meerkat, Gerald, Kronjack, and Walter Wight. So again, it's 6-on-5. Unfortunately, we only had 11 people for these last couple of games. But, this is sort of a novel choice. You can see that the assassin targets are these, how many of them are there? 14 Baron, um, 14 Barons as the targets. Um, and, yeah, I mean, we got some 4 Hair on Guard heroes, which is quite a lot, in addition to some regular Hair on Guards. Um, and
I
a
like
bunch.
reading MP's chat. Sorry, Walt. He basically made the trade and then handed everything to me, so that I was able to pass out units. But it's a hard part where you don't get to trade, but then you have to pass out, and it's like your responsibility, but also not your choice. Um, but I love my son, Mr. Empy, and and I think we worked through it pretty well.
So why don't you tell me about this father-son relationship you have with Empy? I don't understand where that came from.
Mostly a Father Xmas joke, but at the same time, it's great to see Mr. Empy succeed, and he gets a lot of guff from players, and I think that's unfair. Everyone deserves a ray of sunshine.
Okay, well, we see Meerkat perhaps with 24% of the sunshine. He has quite a bunch of units. Gerald only with 7, Ion with only 5%.
But keep in mind the
Ion, no,
percentage also takes into account how many barons one has.
Ion, no doubt, asking for just a warlock, so it could be really 5-on-5. Who knows? Just because Ion really doesn't like any other units, whereas Scratch is deciding to play defense, keeping these barons at least at the starting, or for now at the starting location. Um,
So
Team
Ion is
Empy,
actually kind of one of my I love him as an under the radar sort of person because he can actually play some of his units very well, but he needs to focus. We have other players that can handle a ton of units decently, but if you get Ion locked on, he can be a game changer with small units. So that I guess is the choice here if I'm thinking about unit distribution. Like Kronjack ends up being the player that I try to lean on the most for true actionable units this game, and he does a pretty damn decent job
You're,
with it,
you're
if I
talking
don't
as
say
if
so.
you're the team captain. Are you sort of just assuming command over MP?
At this point, yeah, no, he basically said, "Sorry, Walt. You made the trade and gave me everything."
Yeah, and it did not instill confidence in the
Yeah, it's
team.
not a wonderful place to be put in.
That was a great shot from Wings, blowing up a bunch of MP Solus in the middle. Again, Geralt Toad AFK maybe with his Dwarven hero rather, or he's using his Dwarven hero to scout, which is an interesting choice. This middle battle sort of transpiring.
So if I had to make any comment, I would say that MP's team was very green around the edges, and so if it were anyone's game to win, it would be Scratch's team, but they just need to take advantage of that kind of newer mentality. And so, if anything, it's our goal to basically hold the game out, hope for a tie, and see how we go from there. If we can get a kill, great.
Yeah, but like what we saw in Kerkadarn Assassin, these barons can take a punch or a kick rather from a trow even, and so there aren't, of course, there aren't any units as powerful as a trow on this map. So each of these barons are going to be able to take quite a bit of punishment. How many Dwarven hero bottles do you think it'll take to kill one of these barons? Like 3?
So actually, I never tested. So I actually thought that because of the fact that they gave so many, they would be weighted more like pigs, so that they would die. So I would say one, maybe. Actually, in general, like on the Baron map, 3, I guess technically is the number that kills the Baron.
We see Wings doing some really good work here, killing Kronjack and Empy's, Heron guards,
2 if you're lucky.
forcing them to retreat. But on the other side, we have Ion, Walter Wight, doing some great work against Father Xmas. So Team Scratch is sort of winning this engagement, and then Team Empy is winning this engagement here. Dwarves are blowing up. Explosions are happening. There's a random Thrall Elite here. No idea where that thing came from. Now there's a melee fight going on. Maybe a Heron Guard hero went down. But I think Father Xmas's dwarf went down, so now he's going to be forced to run away. Going over here.
So if I recall during this game, I was always confused as to where your barons were, and one of the major points that Jaral is really great at is focusing on kind of that end game type, and kind of just trying to say, hey guys, the barons are up here, so his whole idea is, where are the barons? Where is the target? So
I mean, that's the experience of a 20-year plus veteran. No, actually, I think I suggested the Scratch to just keep him here, because similar to the Phoenix Falling game, the Dwarven heroes will have really good range if you just park them over here and just protect the access points. But
that's the strategy we took.
Scratch had other plans, and Scratch is a veteran, and I don't think I was really in the position to start ordering him around, and so I kept my mouth shut. But yeah, I mean, we see that he is bringing
Fight to us.
the barons with him, which is kind of interesting.
What is actually kind of I'm thankful for is it actually is so alluring that seeing it from this angle, it would be, like, no, we should just like rush that. But later on in the game, we might see like how different this terrain is, from this angle versus what a player really sees when they're in the
that is a
game.
bad dud puss right there. From who threw that? Wings? But again, this puss, had it gone off, probably wouldn't have done that much damage. The Baron probably would have still been green, even if it did go off. So I don't think it would have changed the game that much had it exploded. But we do see Scratch's team kind of circling MP's base here.
5 minutes remaining.
So the cool thing here was, I guess, the level of player improvement. I felt like Kronjack really showed me a lot of growth down just south of here, or just where he's getting pressed, and he's starting to send up, a Heron Guard or things like that. Maybe in a moment or so, but to really attack you head on. Oh no, actually, it's his Heron Guard that's essentially causing Scratch's southern front from not being able to approach. It's just a single Heron Guard that's just basically antagonizing that front, allowing our northern front to gain some momentum. And so I think Kronjack played this crucial role in our defense that allowed us to potentially hold this game longer than maybe we should have.
Yeah, one thing to note for both teams is that the Thrall Elite were just absolutely worthless, getting sort of demolished on this map on both sides, not really having much of an impact. Of course, there's some Thrall Elite here, but they're more or less just kind of standing there.
So as a new player, you're also trying to tell Meerkat, okay, so just make sure that a player can't get quickly in there, because at this point, I agree. Yeah, they're quickly dead, but in terms of blocking, they're actually pretty effective. A Maul can't certainly get in there if you're blocking, and so sometimes a block for 5 seconds is better than staying alive. And in this game type, this will be a very close game, seeing how all Barons are really clumped. It's anyone's game right now.
Yeah, and Scratch's team really up against the wall here. They've got this huge Maul rush, a couple of Warlocks, that Ion Warlock with 4 kills already, looking for more.
And he just got. Oh well, another one of his got 2.
Oh, he has both of these Warlocks, so he has a total of 9 kills with 2 Warlocks. Geralt Toad, unfortunately, though, getting blown up by some dwarves. That's another kill.
This
for Ion.
northern front with Geralt and Ion was such a crucial aspect to our ability to hold.
We have a
because I felt like this game. Walter Wight finally woke up and tried to send some units in.
Yeah, that dwarf, unfortunately, unable to get any kills. Father Xmas, a little slow to move. He's going to take some damage from another Ion Warlock shot. Yeah, so I think from this perspective over here, there's not much Wings can do. So I think I'll just focus here.
And ultimately, the trade ended up going, okay, Kronjack, you're showing that you can hold this, but now can Meerkat stay in a position that he's not vulnerable? And so I think I passed off some units to you, Kronjack, just to give you a little more breathing room, but you were doing such a good job of just delaying them at this point. Because there was a chance that the percentages are kind of equal, but just knowing if this were an infinite game, I would say that the Beagle Brigade's team tends to have more experience. And so just at this point, strategically, it's better to vie for a tie. So just keep our units alive, try to keep them
Just
engaged
blew up
up
my
north.
Guard hero.
Yeah.
Good job, Scratch.
30 seconds remaining.
This
Yeah, there down south we had a dwarf defending against a warlock, essentially.
And you did a great job, because I think I've talked to you a few nights about how you can use that dwarf, and you've just every single time gotten better and better at it, which is cool. I think you
Well,
even blocked like 3 or 4 lock shots, if I recall,
Game
during this
over.
game. So you kept the entire southern front at bay. I honestly think if I gave an MVP to anyone that game, it would be Kronjack. So
thanks, Walter.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. Yeah, so ending on a tie is not ideal, but it was a well-fought game from both sides, and so
how did
yeah,
you tally that one, by the way? I was curious.
I just gave safe to everybody.
Yeah, that makes sense.
As you can see right here, yeah, everyone was safe. But so yeah, after 4 weeks of intense competition rather, we have Wings with 10 lives, Overdose with 9, Walter Wight with 6, Father Xmas, who really had a rough day, going from 13 to 5, and Glassjaw also kind of struggling a bit, going from 10 to 3. Unfortunately, Kronjack, we lost you about, I think, Dead of Winter or Smash the Mirror, one of those games.
No, it was the behind the library game where you were
Oh, that's right.
correctly pointing out that you
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, so with that, we will be going into week 5 rather, which we will have 1 hour of free for all games this Saturday, and then we will sort of merge with Paris's draft tournament, just so we could end this, so we can get the World War II tournament going, which starts this Sunday. Looking forward to that. But I think
For players that are interested potentially, though, in this more medieval style gameplay, we will be rebooting the casuals tourney, but it's just a matter of timing. So and interest. So if anyone that is watching these videos is interested, I think we're certainly open to more people joining, and this is one of our passions. We enjoy growing players and growing these tournaments. So
what are you, growing players like they're plants or something? But yeah, what you said, definitely I agree. If you're interested in future casuals only events, then give myself or Walter Wight a message, and hopefully we can make something happen. But any concluding remarks from either of you?
yeah.
so
Well, for me, the tournament is over, but I really want to thank you, Overdose, for organizing it because for the last, well, what, 4 weeks, I had tremendous fun. Like, I really love this game, and for the longest time, I wasn't able, for different reasons, to really play it online in such a format with, people who are more or less at the same level as me. And yeah, it was great.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm happy you had a good time, and hopefully it's really just a start to many more tournaments down the line. Um, Walter, when do you think you can get uh, whatever you're planning on doing off the ground?
So that's also something that we want the current players also to give insight in is do you need a break or anything? But I do think that there will be somewhat of a break, particularly because we do want World War II, with Overdose and many of these players kind of getting their roots in that they need their fix. But on the other end, it does seem like there's a, a Paris who's a player tournament going on that will basically both of these tournaments can end around the same time, which is the end of September. So short answer. Let's look towards the final week of September as a potential option, and then we'll be looking for feedback on how the structure is, because if it were if all things were the same, I'd be thrilled. I think Overdose almost wants to change the structure, but I think it's working, so we'll see. So any way that we cut it, I think that let's look for a casuals tourney towards the end of September, and then potentially some funny money games with maybe a Squid Games
Yeah,
in
Squid Games
around
round
Halloween.
2. Be on the lookout for that around Halloween time. We've got some tricks and some treats in store for anybody who really wants to play. I think the only person who really enjoyed themselves was Father Xmas, and so I'm kind of hosting it for him. But of course, anyone else is.
I liked it.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So
I
two.
think
That's.
everyone liked it.
I know. I mean, there was about 8 or 9 people, and I only heard you and Father Xmas give any kind of feedback. So I don't know, but yeah. Unfortunately, there are no recordings of those games. So
They were really funny games, though. It's playing Myth and this bizarre. It's Squid Game style, so I guess there are very specific rules, I guess, which are it's like the most casual, but also kind of the most fun, where it's like everyone get a white, and we all bring it to this point, and the first person to pop it, wins or whatever. It's this very loose structure, but very
okay. Well,
fun, and it's
yeah.
all. Is that a decent promo?
Why don't we just stop this stream right now? Okay. Do you have any final remarks, Kronjack or Walter? Just any last words?
No,
No.
I don't think, other than just responding on that. Otherwise, I'd say, like, no, nice stream, peace
Okay,
out.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we can talk a little bit after. I'm just going to say that, yeah, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you next time.